Welcome. I'm Purpose Fulfillment Guide and author Roslyn McGrath, and this is a sneak peek into the Creative Wisdom Card's purpose and process. And so we have gone into some in-depth work with Creative Wisdom Cards recently, and you can check out that playlist if you like. And I thought you might be interested in really getting a deeper look into how these cards came into being. So a couple decades back, actually, I was doing some art just for my own purposes of enjoying that. And I was using a black marker and I was doing some just sort of a doodle on a fairly good sized piece of paper. And as that continued, I began to see forms, images coming through those shapes, and I began to color those different shapes that appeared in and starting to bring that forth. So it was kind of like as I colored in, I began to find things. And that continued through the process. And there was something about it that really excited me. And when I went to bed that night, I felt this sense of color and movement happening behind my eyes in a way that really hadn't happened since I was a child. And I love that experience. And I thought, okay, this is significant and this feels good. And I continued day after day to do more of these sort of outlines, just very freely, very openly, very freely, and then beginning to discover the images that I saw in those shapes and coloring that in to bring that out and continuing to develop that as I went. And this went on for some time till I probably had close to 40 of these. And I really felt that they were meant, that these were the first images I'd really created. And it's before these goddesses paintings you see behind me, that I really felt were meant for more than just me. Now, I have a background in visual art, but I just never really saw myself as like that lone artist in the room. And I didn't have a strong urge to share what I'd created with other people, not out of any sort of embarrassment, but I just didn't have a really strong inner inspiration for that until these images came together. And so I'll share the first one that came with me now. So these originals are done with oil pastels. That's what crayons are, although that is a very low grade of oil pastel. So it is challenging to get like a real flow with those because they are harder and harder to use because of that. And so this is Gaia Woman. And this is the original that started with black marker, and then I shifted to oil pastels. And so here's another. This is Her Spirit Landed Beneath the Water's Womb. So some of them have a lot of smaller shapes in them, and some, have larger ones like this. And as I laid out these perhaps 40 images all around me on the floor, the that that's when the sense really solidified that these were for more than just me. And many ideas came to mind about what this might turn into. I felt it needed to be something mass produced so that it's not something that is in somebody's home or looking to move things along to the point where they might be, in a gallery, a museum, where a larger public sees them for a period of time, but that something that people could continue to experience on their own. And a friend of mine actually said, "Oh, these are a deck of cards," but I really didn't see it that way at that point. I didn't have a strong yes. I actually waited about a year until I had a really clear sense come to me of what they wanted to become. And that was, in fact, a set of cards. And so then I opened to the words that wanted to come through to be on the back of those cards. And so there are three sections to that. The first being questions to explore. The second being the image speaks, a first person perspective, and suggestions for growth. And so this truly was a channeling because I was simply opening to the energies that were flowing through related to each of these images, which I culled down to 33. And they actually needed to sit again because when I went into the manufacturing aspect, which at that point in time, print on demand and options for more unique creations were nothing like they are today. And so uh, the challenges that came up had to do with, well, I don't want this as small as the standard size that I can get printed at that point in time. And so what do I put these in? It doesn't fit a standard size box. And again, it took another year to realize, oh my goodness, I need to literally think outside the box. And so every box I had seen for any sort of personal growth oracle deck had always fallen apart and pretty darn quickly because it's just cardboard. If you're really using the cards, then that's not going to work for too very long. And that eventually, most often, people would put them in a pouch. It's like, oh, let's start with the pouch. And so, so simple, but it took me a while to get there. And I'm sure that it was all in divine timing for my own readiness and perhaps the larger public's readiness as well. And so I I kept at this as I was inspired, as I was guided, because that sense of inspiration was so strong. And as time has gone on and allowed me to work with them more and more in depth and it, witness other people's experience with them as well, I've come to understand just how invaluable it is to have the image be the primary origination and focus for the cards. Because we tend to live in a very intellectually oriented culture, an idea oriented culture, and certainly in the sense of these types of oracle decks, oftentimes people have ideas and then they look for someone or something to illustrate those ideas. Nothing wrong with that. However, when the image is primary and carries that openness and that invitation for new ways of seeing, then how you experience that image can vary quite a bit with the purpose you chose for that card, the intention of your drawing a card. And you can go deeper and deeper into what comes forth for you from that image in relation to your intention. So this is a very holistic brain deck to help you utilize those insights available to you from your holistic brain, holistic consciousness. And the sense of guidance flowing through is quite palpable in these. And so, if you haven't yet gone to those videos, I think there's 4 or 5 previously, that really help you step deeper and deeper into how you work with the imagery as well as the ideas in the card. I invite you to go to that. And you can also find out more on my website, empoweringlightworks.com, /creative-wisdom, and find out for yourself how this can support you and your goals. So I hope you have found this of interest. If you'd like to hear, I'd love to hear your comments. And if you'd like to hear more on the nature of personal growth and moving forward with your purpose, please like this video and subscribe. And thanks so much for being here and for being you. Namaste and many blessings to you.